Debbie Ann Ritz, Rada Properties LLC, TA Nanjemoy Country Store and Bar, 1979 Liverpool Point Road, Nanjemoy, Maryland 20662, for a transfer of a Class D beer, wine, and liquor on-off sale alcohol beverage license from Rada Chetri, Rada Properties LLC, TA Nanjemoy Country Store. David Martinez is representing, and they are requesting, they have turned in their license to the clerk for holding because they're requesting 60 days for renovations to be completed. And at that time, there will probably be a new UNO issued. Mr. Martinez is looking at me.
I'm a bit.
Thank
you. That's okay. Why don't we get you guys sworn in, and then we can kind of start this and make some.
Raise your right hand, please.
Talk about it.
Do you declare and affirm on the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Debbie Reese.
Okay. All right, Mr. Martinez and Ms. Reese. Tell us about some of the confusion.
David Martinez and Jenkins Law Firm on behalf of the applicant, and as Melody indicated, and welcome to Ms. Quaid as a member of the board. So this is a change of corporate officer of an LLC. That is the only change. However, the board is probably aware of this Nanjemoy Country Store. The address is 1979 Liverpool Point Road, Nanjemoy. They have a Class D on and off license. The condition of that property, it needs a little bit of I say renovation is really some maintenance and repair work to the condition of the flooring and the ceiling. And so essentially it's a request to the board to be closed more than 10 days because according to Mr. Ruiz, it's not practical to continue remain open to the public while they have to do some of these flooring repairs and ceiling repairs, honestly. The board's probably aware, or at least some members of the board are aware, that this store has had quite a few ownership transfers over the last few years, and so it's an old country store, and it needs some work to be done. So, out of abundance of caution, my client, we've submitted the license to the county attorney's office for safekeeping. With the board's permission, we take the license, we'll put it back on the wall in the store, and just have the board's permission to hopefully remain closed for the longer than 10 days until the approximately 60 days necessary to do some of these repairs.
Okay, so you didn't permanently turn in a license. You turned in a temporary 10-day, but you're requesting 60 days for the repairs.
Correct.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
And with that caveat, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Madam Chair, I don't want to interject because I know you're on a roll, Mr. Martinez, but if they turn the license in,
they didn't really turn it in.
Well, no. Let me finish, Ms. Weschler. Let me finish. They turn the license in for holding. That will alleviate us having to worry about them for inspection, and they can stay closed. If the board accepts that and the board permits that, they can remain closed, do their thing. That way they're if they're going to be not open to the public, then they're not open to the public pending the renovations being completed. That way there's no gray areas to are they open or are they not open, or what do we do, and are we selling alcohol or not selling alcohol. And that way, if it's held by the board, there's no question they can't sell alcohol, they can't do any of that, and it alleviates all that gray area.
Right. Thanks for the clarification. That makes sense.
Thank you, Ms. Corporal-Thompson.
Thank you.
That's the intention, Ms. Coates.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Very good.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So with that preface, then I would just have my client testify.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Ruiz, as you've heard, the purpose of this transfer is a change of the LLC members for Charter Properties LLC. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And Nanjemoy Country Store, if the board members are not familiar with it, that's located obviously in Nanjemoy down toward the end of Route 6. And it's a country store. You sell alcohol, but also groceries and other various necessities, correct?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen and a Charles County resident?
Yes.
And are you now the sole member of the LLC taking over from Ms. Chetri?
Yes.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony criminal offense?
No, sir.
Have you ever held a liquor license before in this jurisdiction or any other?
No, sir.
Do you hold an ownership interest in any other business in Charles County that has a liquor license?
No, sir.
You've never held a liquor license, so strike that question. And we just had this discussion, but you can put on the record that you've heard the discussion and that your opinion, as you described to me, was it wasn't practical to remain open for business while you try to do some of these floor repairs and other maintenance items. Is that correct? And you've heard my proffer to Ms. Coates that you're requesting basically 60 days to be able to make all those repairs and things?
Yes, sir.
And then at that time, we'd submit necessary documentation to the county, to the board through the county attorney's office before the new license would be issued to you if the board grants the transfer. Do you understand that? Okay. How long, you just answered that question. Will you be utilizing, it's a Class D on and off license, but will you be utilizing the on-sale portion at least initially?
No.
But you understand that you would have to notify the board through the county attorney's office if you were going to start to utilize the on-sale portion?
Yes.
Okay. Will you be hiring a new manager to oversee the operations
Yes.
there? And besides that manager, will you be in the store?
Yes, sir.
How often will you be in the store?
Daily.
And how many employees do you expect to have once you open?
3.
And is your alcohol awareness training current?
Yes.
And will your employees be alcohol awareness trained?
Yes.
You understand that even if they're trained, while the board likes it when employees are trained, it's still your responsibility as the licensee to make sure you're following up with the employees. And I know board members in the past have suggested that it's good that either you or your manager, someone has a daily meeting with employees just to remind them to check the IDs.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely, yes.
And you're aware that you can't allow patrons to consume alcohol in your parking lot?
Yes.
And you're not going to let that happen,
Absolutely
right?
not.
And other than the change of LLC members, is everything else about the business remaining the same?
Yes.
What are the intended hours once you do reopen?
6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday.
Okay, 7 days a week.
7
the same
days,
hours.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, 7 days.
If the transfer is approved by the board, you intend to continue following all laws and regulations required of liquor license holders in Charles County and the state of Maryland?
Yes.
And you authorize or continue to authorize the right of, whether it's Master Corporal Thompson, any applicable local and state agencies to come into the premises and conduct any necessary inspections?
Yes.
So Mr. Magoon's the liquor inspector sitting in the back, and he may come by to do an inspection, your inventory and things like that. You have to continue to follow all the laws.
Yes.
Okay. And will you continue to operate the store in such a manner as to avoid disturbing the peace, health, welfare, and safety of the neighborhood where the store is located?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Coates, I have no further questions for Ms. Were you subject to any questions from the board?
All right, thank you. Any questions, boys?
Tell us about your background. Excuse me.
I have 30 years experience in business. I don't like what would you like to know? I don't
Liquor,
know.
as far as alcohol.
Oh, I've never sold alcohol or been around, I worked in a store that sold alcohol.
I heard Mr. Martinez give you a little, ask you a couple of questions to kind of lead you where I'm going about the responsibility factor. It's so important that you understand that it's on your shoulders.
Oh, I know that.
That if you set the standards for your people in the beginning, rigid, strict standards in the beginning, what you will allow, what you won't allow, your position on vertical license, so forth, make all that clear. You can't be there all the time.
Yes, sir.
And it generally happens on those days that you take the time to sneak away for a few minutes or to take some time off to do other things. That's when other people are left to be responsible for your license,
Right.
so to speak. So you want to make sure everyone understands what you are demanding of them to make sure they protect that license, because ultimately you're the person going to have to come back in here to see us.
Yeah.
And it's never good when you come back.
I know.
It's only good the first time you're here. Second time it's not good. So we want to make sure you understand and impart all that information to your people so they understand If you've ever looked at the program on television, you've heard us talk about the shift meetings, little talks that you have with your people prior to getting started. I know you're not anticipating a large staff, but still you want to make sure they understand at some point through talks or through some type of literature posted or given to them that they understand exactly what's expected of them to protect that license, because it is very precious.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Ms. Reese, have you thought about, now that you've been sitting here for a while, I assume, and listened to a lot of what the board has asked and information I've passed on about vertical licenses, have you thought about, or have you discussed with Mr. Martinez the policies as far as how are you going to sell alcohol, what policies that you're going to put in place? Have you thought about that at all yet?
Yes, we're definitely not going to sell to anyone that has a vertical license.
Okay.
No matter if they're 21 to whatever, they haven't changed their license, but no. And we're going to 100% check ID.
100% ID
yes.
check? Okay.
Yes.
That'll save you a lot of
Yes,
problems.
really.
Yes, a lot of people are going to get mad, I'm sure, but I'm sorry.
That'll save you a lot of problems.
And to make sure that if that's your policy, preach that to your staff.
Yes, definitely.
Preach it.
Yeah, remember,
Because they will forget.
it's your house, it's your rules. You want to protect yourself. You want to protect the public. You want to protect the license because it's very valuable.
Yes.
Okay.
Is your staff going to be able to stay employed by you while you're closed? Or are you going to have to hire new staff?
No.
Huh? No?
No.
So you have to hire all new staff
Yes.
and go through training with them?
Yes. Yeah.
So best they get the training out of the way first, and while they've got, if you hire them and set them up for a class.
Right. Yeah.
So, and you are aware that during this renovation time, there's absolutely no alcohol sales whatsoever.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
Okay, just
Yes.
want to, I can't
No, I would
reiterate that enough, that you have no license and that you
Exactly.
cannot sell alcohol,
That's-
okay?
Yes.
Matter of fact, since you don't have since there's going to be renovations and a new UNO, I'm not zoning or anything, but you probably couldn't be even open to the public because you need a new UNO. Am I right on that?
I don't exactly know,
I
Master
don't
Corporal
know,
Thompson. I mean,
think
but we're trying to alleviate all those issues
We've had that
and
happen
just
once before, and
yeah. I guess we'll obviously they'll check with
Cross that bridge with
PGM as
building and
necessary.
It
Right.
actually has on here a notation that new UNO is required.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a notation, so you won't even be able to get in that building until you obtain that new UNO. So, okay. But if you happen to get it prior to your 60 days and your wait time for your alcohol license, just don't bring the alcohol in and sell it.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Okay. Do you have any vertical license postings?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you already have them in the
Yes.
store?
Yes.
All right. And you said you have 3 employees, but are they current employees that you're planning on? Because you're going to have to, you're saying you're going to relieve them, but...
In Mr. Lowe's question, I think it's based on the change of the members in the LLC. I don't believe any, Ms. Ruiz can answer, but I don't believe any of the employees Ms. Chetry has been using are going to remain. So
Right.
Ms. Ruiz is going to be hiring a new manager as new employees as well.
So you're going to have a new manager and then 2
Yes,
other
ma'am.
staff, and then you're going to be there on a daily basis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that's good business practice because you can see what's going on for yourself.
Absolutely.
So, but that doesn't say that we haven't seen new people
Right.
come in,
Oh, I know.
other, as well, licensees come in that also sold to underage. So just be very careful.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Any other questions?
Ms. Reeves, do you know where you're supposed to get your alcohol from?
Yes.
Where?
I have a distributor that I'm already talking to.
So you need to go to licensed distributors. You can't go up the
Yes, ma'am.
road to Iron
Nope.
Side store and buy some alcohol or whatever. You run
I know
out,
that.
you've got to go to a distributor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for it? I think you've heard it all from
Thank
us. So I'll let your counsel close for you.
Thank you, Ms. Coates. Members of the board, I believe that we've demonstrated through the submissions and as the testimony has shown today that Ms. Ruiz is a fit and proper person to hold a liquor license, and request you approve this transfer of this Class D on and off sale beer, wine, and liquor license.
Okay, great. All right, board.
Madam Chair, I move that the board approves this transfer.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you all very
Very
much.
much.
Okay.